we're going to assume it's all good. So
All
let's
right.
talk about Chunky.
Yay, Chunky.
Yay,
Yay.
Chunky. This is the best book in the world. I normally do adult novels, thrillers, things like that. This came on my radar. I was intrigued. I said yes. Do you know your novel, your graphic novel, let's show everyone,
Yeah.
made me laugh, made me cry.
Oh,
It was, I'm getting emotional. It was beautiful. So tell
well,
me
thank you.
why you decided to do this, the inspiration. Why now? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, that's a great question. Why now? So I had some success with Sci-Fu. Sci-Fu was my book with Oni Press. And it got on the Scholastic Book Club, and it was in the Scholastic Book Fairs in schools. And that was doing really well. And I was getting noticed by librarians and like other book publishers. And that's when I had dinner with Raina Telgemeier. And if people don't know who Raina Telgemeier is, she's like the queen of all graphic novels. So she does like smile, drama, ghosts, sisters. So she's the queen of this sort of like memoir, middle grade book space. And I don't know, just over the course of that dinner, I was telling her like stories from my childhood and like, you know, dealing with weight and like, and yeah, she really encouraged me to like do a book about this. So it was really all Raina. Yeah.
So Raina was a real life cheerleader.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So Chunky in this story, for those people who haven't read it yet, which you better.
Yes, you better.
Because they'll love it, because it's going to make their life richer, because it's wonderful, not because we're trying to push something for people to buy. It's not about that. It's about it's a point of connection with people that we all have someplace inside us. So Chunky is that cheerleader. So how real of an imaginary friend was Chunky from your childhood?
Different. I didn't actually have like your standard imaginary friends. Like it's weird. Like as a kid though, like I would really like invest a lot of personality into like pets and stuffed animals. Like I'd get like really like emotionally attached to these. Like I had this Baloo bear, like Baloo from Jungle Book, and like it was like that was my best friend as a kid. Like I remember I got him at Disneyland, and then we flew back to Houston, and he was on the wrong flight. And I was just devastated. Like he actually went to Hawaii, and like they got the bags mixed up, and I was just like, I mean,
oh my God, that's a book right there.
Yeah, seriously. But it was like losing a best friend, and then finally he came back, and it was like amazing. But yeah, I don't know, it was like, you know, because I'd spent a lot of time sort of alone in my room, and I guess just sort of like investing or like, you know, projecting that kind of personality into stustuffed animals was like a big part of my childhood.
Well, guess what? Who's here with me today?
Oh,
this is Bob. She's the one who's closest, who I can reach. I swear they're like my marketing team, my encouraging team. I set them up when I'm writing. So maybe that was your childhood days, but that's also my today days, because you know what? You can count on them.
Exactly. They're always there for you.
People have their own agenda going on, and they may not always be available to you, even if they wanted to be. You know, there's something about a presence in your life that is consistent. And I think we provide that for ourselves. So one of the things we talked about, how Chunky's the best. Chunky's the best. How are people responding to this graphic novel?
It's been amazing. Like, it was interesting, like, you know, just coming up with the idea. I knew it'd be like, I was able to do all the funny stuff. Like, I feel like I was going to be able to do the funny stuff. And it's the heartwarming stuff that people are like really like responding to, that I was like, I don't know, that's the part I was a little unsure of myself and my skills, that I would have been able to deliver that properly. But it seems like people are really responding to it. Like,
Yeah.
it's been overwhelming. Like, yeah, but
I think it's because, it's authentic. And that's
yeah,
something that, our culture is just starting to talk about all the pressures on all of us, whether you're a little bit overweight or whether you're slim and everyone's calling you beautiful all the time, and now you feel like you've got to be that to live up to everybody else's expectations. I think this touches
yeah,
every.
yeah. And that's what, like, so when I first submitted the book and was like, shopping it around, there were some reactions that were like, oh, it's just gonna be fat jokes. It's called chunky. It's just gonna be body shaming, fat jokes. And people didn't really grasp what it was about. It was about self-acceptance and just, loving yourself. Like, even though the rest of the world like sees you one way, you need to be comfortable with yourself and like be confident in yourself. And
Right,
like, even though
exactly.
you feel
And
like you don't fit in, like you fit in somewhere. There's definitely something for you that,
yeah, I'm beginning to wonder if every single one of us thinks that inside our own heads, that we don't
yeah.
fit in. But I love this. So we have a little scene. I don't know if people can see me, a little scene.
Mhm.
And, Chunky is trying to
Yeah.
get Hootie to listen to him. And he's like, hey, don't listen to that voice in your head. You're supposed to listen to this voice in your head.
Yeah.
Voices in your head. So tell us what that was like growing up. How did you manage the voices in your head?
Yeah, because there's definitely like there's negative voices in your head for sure that are like sometimes way louder. Like, but yeah, it's yeah, that's part of growing up is like what voice in your head do you choose to listen to? Like that's what I feel like, what feels right versus what feels wrong. Like even like, when I played football, like I was getting encouraged to be aggressive and be like become this monster, but like I just did not feel it at all. Like I knew it was wrong for me. Like so it's all about learning to, yeah, pick that right voice in your head and
Yeah.
like just like listen
Why
to
do
it.
you think you were able to do that when other people aren't? How were you able to listen?
Uh it was really like art helped. Like I knew I was good at art, so like I felt like, and I was funny, so like I don't know, I felt like I had that thing that I could jump to. Like it wasn't just sports, like, you know and it was really like, there was a moment in a football game that I really hurt my hand, like injured my hand, and I thought like, oh, what if I injured my drawing hand? Like that would have been like, as a kid, you
Uh-huh.
thought like, oh, if I couldn't draw, like that's it, like it's over. So like that really like pushed me into feeling like, oh, if I'm so concerned with my drawing hand and getting injured, then maybe that's what I need to be doing. Like
Right.
that's
That's
what I
the
need to be
heart.
concentrating on.
That's what's important to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. When did you first start making characters for comics?
Oh, very young. Like I
How
think
young?
probably, I mean, definitely kindergarten. I was like, yeah, yeah. I had this like cow character, and he's in the early pages, like right
Oh,
before I
show us.
doodle.
Show us.
Yeah, right before I doodle Chunky.
I have it. We both have it here.
Yeah, that cow character
The cow. I'm
is,
following along.
yeah,
Let's say.
his name is Elroy. And that
Oh
was like the
boy.
first sort of character I sort of was trying to make my own, like
Oh yeah,
comic
I see
strip.
him. I see him.
Yeah. And he's definitely like almost like Bill the cat from Bloom County, like, that kind
Right.
of personality. Like I love the Bloom County. So like that was like my first attempt at like creating my own character and like little storylines. And
And
yeah.
were you encouraged by people outside your stuffed animal family?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. And that's another thing like that I had to take license with in the book, making my
Right.
parents not seem like they're like, you know, all bad
Right.
or, but yeah, my parents really encouraged me to keep drawing all the time. Like, because my dad's an artist and he paints, he's an architect. Like that was another,
Athletic.
yeah, I know.
Holy.
I know. Like him being the best at everything, like then you can sort of like see how like I felt as a kid. And yeah, he's still an
Yeah,
amazing painter and he can still beat me at tennis.
like a Renaissance man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So but so we had art supplies around the house all the time, and
nice,
yeah, they really encouraged me to keep drawing. So,
nice.
and my sisters drew also,
Ah,
but like at some point they just stopped drawing.
hmm,
Like it was weird. Yeah,
huh. Well,
yeah,
I was gonna that was the question I was gonna ask you, because you have like a little
yeah.
disclaimer in the author's notes. First
Mhm.
of all, my parents want you to know that they weren't that pushy, but of course you have
Yeah,
to exaggerate.
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
I was watching a Jim Gaffigan clip, and in it he's like, I do lie up here, uh,
yeah,
and that's part of comedy, right? Let's talk
yeah,
about let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about comedy.
yeah.
Um, Gosh, how important is it for a happy life? If we can't laugh at stuff, what else do we got?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, laughter truly is the best medicine. And like,
It is, and they've
yeah.
proven that.
Did
There is,
they? Oh, yeah.
have you heard of that? I think it's Bernie Siegel. I forget the name of the book, but he took cancer patients and they had to watch funny movies, and like the whole thing was laugh. And that group of subjects, some of them recovered from their cancer. They all did better than the ones who didn't have a lot of laughing in
Nice.
their life.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, and that's in one thing, like as a family growing up, like we went to a lot of comedies. We would rent comedy movies and watch them over and over again. Like I feel like, and like even like Thanksgiving is almost like our celebrity roast time. Like when the family gets together, like we sometimes have slideshows of old photos, and that's our chance to just like make fun of each other and like
Fun. That
yeah,
sounds
yeah,
like a lot of fun. Did you do
yeah.
any stand-up for your family when you were a kid?
Yeah, so we would put on these plays and like skits and like it's interesting, like thinking back, like we would have like almost like SNL style, like characters that we would do in multiple skits. Like it was, yeah,
Ah,
like
so there'd be a
so like
character
refining the
that you
gag.
did, but it would show up in different things
Oh,
that
I think I
kind of.
lost audio. Oh, there we go.
Oh, can you
I
hear me?
lost audio for a second. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There is. I am in Portland, Maine, and there is tremendous thunder here. So we'll see how it
Oh,
goes.
yeah, yeah.
It might be
Port Maine
interference.
is great. I've been to Maine.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Lots
Yeah,
of
it's
lobster.
fun. I mean, things are
Yeah.
starting to open up back here, so that's fun. That's actually something I wanted to talk about too. I have that in
Yeah.
my notes. COVID, how did you do with that?
Yeah. COVID. Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting because like, I worked at Disney Interactive and that was like 5 years ago. And then when I transitioned into doing comics and like writing full time, it's all been from home anyway, like just me in my house at my computer.
I get it.
So it felt like like my lifestyle hadn't changed that much because like I
Yeah.
work around the clock. I'm like glued to my computer drawing 24/7 anyway. So like the initial lockdown like didn't feel that different. It felt like normal day to day. It was the other things of like, yeah, being terrified to leave the house, because I have one lung. So it's like you hear about this like
Oh my gosh,
COVID
that's a whole
affecting
other
lungs.
element.
Yeah. So I was terrified like when it first started. And then like then you
Oh,
start to miss the things of like going to movies, going to a movie theater. Then it starts to feel weird. And then you miss family, not being able to go home for Thanksgiving. But as a family, we really tried to do like the every Sunday Zoom, everybody jump on, talk to each other.
right.
And that helped. That was great. But yeah,
Right.
really like watching a lot of like comedies were like really helped. Like
Right.
stuff like that, like Bill and Ted Face the Music. Like normally it would be,
Is that it? I only know the old one. Is that a new one?
yeah, that's part 3. That's like the new one that came out
Oh
during
boy.
the pandemic. And it would
The
have been
first
like,
one is one of my favorites. ever.
Yeah, first one is amazing.
Excellent.
Yeah. So like, yeah, part 3 probably would have come and gone in a normal year, but like COVID and like being desperate for any like levity, like it felt like
Right,
that's the
right.
best movie ever made. Like, yeah, because it was
Funny,
just
right?
you needed
How
that
how has
comedy.
how has re-entry been into the world?
It's been nice. We went to Disneyland, so it was right before, yeah, it was right before
Been
everything
there?
fully opened back up. But we wanted to go back to Disneyland because there was a window where it was like before they were letting, it was 25% capacity, and they weren't letting out of state guests in. So we were like, oh, let's go then. Like, let's.
Yeah.
So, and that was fun. And it was like, and it felt weird that it just felt normal again. Like everyone was wearing masks, and it was very well handled. But like being
Yeah.
around all those people, like it didn't really freak me out. It was like, oh, this is weird that it just feels normal again. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, adaptability,
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
I believe along with a good sense of humor, adaptability is key to a happy life.
yeah,
So going back, for some reason that triggered in
yeah.
my mind, something I want to talk about with you is this body positive movement and what you think about it and how you think Chunky fits in.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's definitely like should be, lumped in with all the body positivity movement. Yeah, I think it's really important. I feel like, because I've yo-yo dieted, I've struggled with my weight, and then also I got my thyroid out like 3 years ago, and that's really affected my metabolism and like what I can eat. So like, to me, like
Oh gosh,
now,
you gotta conserve your body parts. Come
I
on.
know, I know. So like, yeah, I've like since that surgery and then putting on weight and then losing weight again, like I felt like, it's I've been mindful of food, but it's no longer like a compulsion anymore. Like I feel like I'm fine. Like I'm fine how I
Yeah,
am.
well,
It's
no,
like
I think it
how I
helps.
feel.
Yeah. I
It's
think it
more
helps
how I
with the
feel.
general culture changing. I do.
Yeah.
I think it's supportive for everyone
Yeah.
because you know what? No one's happy with
Right.
themselves. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the truth of it. It's
Yeah.
crazy
Yeah.
because that's like the whole human population.
Yeah.
You think we could have a better baseline than that, but
I
nothing
know.
there. Yeah.
And also, yeah, growing up like with 80s action movies, like Schwarzenegger and Stallone, like those bodies were like, you know,
Yeah.
ingrained in my mind as a kid. And like,
And as a kid, were you aware that they were pumped full of steroids?
no, not at all. Well, and then also because then my dad, he has a thick accent. So like he
right.
was almost like the Schwarzenegger equivalent in my house. So it's like, well, he can do it. Like, yeah, like, yeah. So it felt
Oh
that
my
much more
gosh. What was your
unattainable.
mom like? What's your mom like?
My mom's great, so she's funny, like me, and then also she suffers from a lot of the same like health issues I do.
Okay.
So she gets migraines the same way as I do. So like, she was always empathetic with my health stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And she's definitely not as athletic as my father. Like, she actually like when the Regency tennis courts that are in the book,
Right.
like she played tennis once and then tore her like ligament in her leg, and like she was on crutches for like 9 months. Like it felt like, as a kid, your mom on crutches for like that long.
Oh
Just
my
like,
gosh.
it feels
Did
like
you want to
forever.
play with her crutches?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I had my own set of crutches also. So like,
That was like a gold mine as a kid if you could get your hand on a pair of crutches.
yeah.
Could she wear the
Yeah.
visor? Is that a
Oh
thing?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely a thing. She did not wear it at the bat mitzvah, but yeah. But in my mind she did. Yeah. But yeah,
So,
we joke about her power visor.
so let's talk about the bat mitzvah. Did you really do all that stuff at the event?
I was definitely obnoxious. I didn't like spill drinks, but I would get it because it's funny. Like when you are, me and my sisters are all close in age, so we were all born on the exact same day, 1 year apart each.
Are you
So
serious?
like, yeah. So like really close in age.
You all have the same birthday?
Yeah, 3 years in a row. Yeah, November 21st. Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah. So like there's a block of time where we went to bar and bat mitzvahs like every weekend, and when it's your bar mitzvah year, I mean, that's your year. Like you go to every bar mitzvah for every, person in your Hebrew school. So I would have these routines at these like ceremony, like,
Oh my gosh.
at the parties, my dance routines that make people laugh, but like I could definitely feel like when I was getting obnoxious with it. And
Reading do you do live comedy now?
no, I don't. No. I definitely put all my comedy through the writing. Yeah.
Is that because you have an opportunity to kind of vet it a little more rather than be on stage? Or,
Yeah. Well, so I did theater in high school, and that was great. Like, that was a big part of my life, is doing theater. And I was like, we competed in the UIL one act plays in high school, and I would win best actor. And like, so I was really into theater and acting. And then I got to college and I didn't like the theater department at UT. Like, it just felt like a little too pretentious.
UT, where is that, Texas?
Yeah, University of Texas in Austin. Yeah.
At Austin, okay.
So it was way too big of a school. Like, I should have gone to a smaller school. But it just felt like, I don't know, like I was more interested in sketch comedy, and then they were, wanting to do Ibsen plays.
Right.
So then I decided to focus more on my art and drawing. And basically that's when I found animation, because animation is like drawing and acting combined.
Right.
So that's how I feel like I've sort of like melded my two skills together. And
so you kind of have this intuitive path, but at the same time, you forged that path by knowing, when you had the football experience of, oh my gosh, if I injure my right hand, or whatever hand you use, your dominant hand, I'm not going to have the life I want.
Yeah.
So
I feel like I've been, like talking to other kids and like even my nieces and nephews, like, I feel like I'm lucky that I knew what I wanted to do, like make cartoons, like at a young age, like I just knew. So everything I've done has been sort of like building to that.
Yeah, it helps. All right. So on that note,
Yeah.
because this is something that I've, I do a lot of work with authors, and almost all authors like seem to fall prey sometimes to imposter syndrome. Does that ever happen to you?
Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah. Because like a big part of like, pitching in Hollywood is a little bit of fake it till you make it. It's like overpromise and then hope you deliver. Like, yeah.
Right. Flying by the seat of your pants a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It seems like it's, again, I think that falls back though to, like the things in Chunky, the self-doubt and wanting to fit in and feeling like you're the only one and all that. And also that feeling that you just described of, fake it till you make it. Honestly, I really am starting, like I said, I'm starting to believe everybody lives life that way.
Yeah.
No?
And I know, because I do have a definite point of view, like thanks to my upbringing, being a Mexican Jew, growing up in Houston, Texas, like I have a POV that I know I can offer stories that no one else can. So I have that confidence in me. Like I definitely have that, like, hey, here's something different that you don't see every day in every cartoon and TV show and movie. Here's what I can offer. Take it or leave it. Like I have that confidence of knowing this is something different and unique.
Right. In your voice.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, is there anything you want to, I think we're about good for a wrap up. Is there anything you want to share about Chunky? You want to read an excerpt or anything you want to conclude with?
I'm working on Chunky 2 right now. Yeah, and it's Chunky Goes to Camp, and it's all about when I went to a Jewish summer camp in Waco, Texas. It's called Green Family Camp, and and it's definitely like an evolution. Like it's not the same format; it's an evolution of the first book, and I feel like it's a little bit more emotional in a way. Like yeah, and I'm really excited about that.
Yes. Well, send that one along when you get it, and maybe we can chat again.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thank you very much. This is awesome.
This was fun.
Yeah,
thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
I can figure out how to get out of here. We kind of wonked this up, but I could do it. And, oh, there, I could have done that the whole time.
Nope, I can't hear
And
you
meeting for
anymore.
all.
Oh, there we go.
You go by Yehudi or Hootie?
Yehudi, but you can call me Hootie. That's all right.
Well, I'm used to it because of the book. Thank you,
Yeah, yeah.
Yehudi.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.